Can 5 minutes of horse stance every day change your entire life? Sure. But it's not because you finally decided to start doing leg day. A lot of people focus on the very obvious physical benefits of sitting in horse stance, right? It opens up your hips, develops strength in the posterior chain. The long time under tension is great for your tendons. Very good. But that's not the point of horse stance. In the fitness circle, it's becoming this ultimate hack. You know, you do this one thing, this one exercise for 5 minutes exactly, and you're going to have enormous horse legs. That's not true, you know. I wish it was true. No one wants huge wheels from just sitting for hours at a time, more than I do, okay? You're not going to get huge legs. Will you develop mitochondria, which, you know, just more power output and endurance in general? Yeah, of course. Again, it's not the point. Now, you're probably a martial artist. People that aren't martial artists don't spend any time in this position, right? Not even sitting at a desk, right? We don't have a lot of reason to squat like this in the modern day. So people don't do it. So if you haven't put your hips into external rotation in years or ever, yeah, it's going to do a lot for you. It's going to wake some things up that you didn't know were there, right? Maybe give you a little bit of junk in the trunk, a little bit. You're missing the point. That's kind of like saying, oh, I eat food because it's a great jaw workout. You really use those chewing muscles. Yeah, you're right. You technically do. But you're kind of missing 90% of the benefit and reason for doing it, right? But most people never get that far because they're focused on the result, right? The time. Oh, I did the number of minutes prescribed that makes you a badass, or, you know, oh, I'm just like a monk because I can sit here like this and balance teacups on my shoulders. Not the point. Horse stance training has nothing, well, okay, it has a tiny bit to do with your legs, but mostly nothing to do with your legs or your endurance capacity. I've been a martial artist for decades. I don't do endurance work. I should, but I'm really built more for, you know, explosiveness, power, speed, things like that. And I've never been a marathoner. And, you know, that's to my own detriment. I've tried doing the cardio before. It's just, I hate it. So I don't really train for this sort of thing. I honestly don't think I've ever done more than 5 minutes of shikodachi, or horse stance. I mean, technically, this is horse stance, right? Because you ride the horse this way, but, you know, whatever, it's the principle that matters. The point of horse stance, or shikodachi, or long endurance holds, has nothing to do with being the most immovable boy in class, okay? It's not about winning a contest, beating other people. It has nothing to do with any of that. Horse stance is a test of your mind, of your willpower. Long endurance in shikodachi teaches you patience and your true limits. Because if you tell yourself, oh, it's super hard, my legs are burning, okay, I can't do it, you're right. You're totally right. It's about being indomitable in your spirit and your will. I already want to quit. I've had several moments where I really want to stop. My feet are sweating, I'm sliding, right? I can feel the trembling in my muscle fibers trying to stay stable, right? So what? Who cares? Chances are pretty good, right? I've seen my demographics, so you've lived, a few decades likely, so you've seen some things. Almost guaranteed that if you haven't seen something more difficult, more complicated than 5 minutes of horse stance in your life, you will. And you're gonna get through it. It's gonna be uncomfortable. The lesson of shikodachi, of horse stance, is to get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's the whole thing. That's honestly the secret to everything. To dieting, right? You have to become comfortable feeling hungry and not taking immediate action, right? I've wanted to stop doing this already many times. I'm choosing not to, right? My instinct is to stop, get up, shake my legs out, right? That's an idea. It's a suggestion. Sliding here. And yeah, I'm not in the deepest, horse stance or whatever. But again, you can't focus on the position. We already have enough of that in karate and traditional martial arts, right? Oh, this position is perfect. We get so bent out of shape about the position, how it looks. Oh, look how close I am to the floor, Wow, that makes me better. Except you can't move effectively from this depth, right? You can't explode back and forth. You're rooted down. Okay, these Shotokan stances, okay, no offense, I've practiced Shotokan, but it's about how it looks. It's about looking pretty. And so if you're a Shotokan practitioner, you have done stance training, right? You have probably the hardest stance training of any of the styles. Super low, right? Super deep. You're missing the point. You're missing the forest for the trees. See, you can tell I've wanted to instinctually put my hands on my legs and rest. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. So what? If you just sit with that feeling, right, and listen to it. Don't respond, don't react, don't try and address it and give it everything it wants, okay, like a cranky toddler. Your body is going to throw a tantrum. My body is currently throwing a tantrum, okay? But your body lies to you. You think your limits are here. You think your limits are 5 minutes of horse or whatever. Your body wants you to be comfortable. So long before it even starts to really become uncomfortable, you'll get the signal. Stop, lay down, take a rest. Why don't you conserve energy so that we can chase down calories later, right? We're running on 300,000-year-old software. You have to be above it. And if you just take the time and really let yourself sit in it, you'll surprise yourself. Like I said, I have not done more than maybe 5 minutes of horse stance ever. I thought we were maybe 3 or 4 minutes in. That's the point. I've already beaten my own personal best, and I'm no longer in my physical prime, okay? Trust me. I'm trying to prove a point to you, and I am currently proving the point to myself, right? When I'm not focused on, oh, it hurts, oh, the lactic acid, ouch, if I don't focus on that and dwell on it, oh, how soon can I get over that? A lot of people will say, try counting to 10 or something, right? You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, and you just do that over and over, and you just do it 5 more seconds, and 5 more seconds, and 5 more seconds. You're missing the point, and you're shooting yourself in the foot. By focusing on the time, you're making the time an important factor. It's not. The time means nothing. I don't have the deepest Shikodachi. I don't care. I can move from this position. I am rooted in this position. This is a strong, stable place for me. And I'm moving around, right? Again, it's not about being the This isn't the Squid Games, right? You're not going to get sniped for moving, all right? The body is a living, moving thing. You have to move through these positions. You have to be comfortable in these positions, and you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Because if you can't be slightly uncomfortable and have a quad burn, right? Or you're, oh, my butt hurts, literally, for a few minutes, how the hell are you going to fight? Are you going to defend yourself? Are you going to achieve your goals? Are you going to do anything? If you can't take a little bit of discomfort, you will remain where you are. It is easy to make no changes. Change is difficult. And you will get things if you wait, right? Of course, yes, the pain goes away if you give up immediately. But the pain also goes away when you sit in it for long enough. I'm feeling a lot better than I did a few minutes ago. But I wouldn't know that unless I tried it, right? And this is something where often in like push-ups or something else, it's okay. Let's put it this way. What is an impossible amount for you? Like, I can't do horse stance for 10 minutes. Okay. If someone offered you $50 million to do it, I mean, you'd at least try. You'd at least give it like your really best shot. And you wouldn't go until it's like, ow, it burns a little bit. Okay, I'm done. You would go until you drop. That's your limit. When you can no longer hold yourself up. Okay, very few people are ever going to hit that. Even if I've never done this much horse stance training in my life, okay? I'm not going to blow out both my quads doing an extra minute of horse stance. All right? I might be a little sore tomorrow or, later tonight. But again, if you're not comfortable getting sore, you're never going to build muscle. And it's again, you have to become comfortable with the discomfort. Because it's not real pain, right? I mean, I've got bone spurs on almost all of my vertebrae. I've got herniated disc, bulging discs, like almost no discs. I know pain. This is just unpleasant. And if you can ride out unpleasant, you can ride out most inconveniences, aggravations, annoyances in the modern day, right? Oh, that new task at work that I'm gonna have to learn, a new skill to like do it. That resistance, that mental, I don't want to do it, is exactly when you should push. That is when you are building new neural pathways, right? That feeling is literally your brain reaching out and stretching itself. Literally. You gotta let it do it. If you never stretch to the point where you feel like, ooh, that's tight, you're never gonna get flexible. It's just the universal principle. If you commit to doing the thing and finding your limit, right? Not see if I can do 20 minutes, see if I can do whatever, 50 push-ups. It's just do it until you cannot. Not I've chosen to do it, or I really don't want to, or it's uncomfortable, right? Or your feet are sweaty and so you're slipping into the splits constantly. I'm proving the point to myself because I did not anticipate doing this for 15 minutes, So I'm like making a point that I already believe in, and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm right. Yeah. So try it. Just try it. And give yourself the imaginary motivation if you need to. But honestly, the key is letting go. I might never stand up straight. I might be here for 2 hours. I don't know. And because I don't know and I don't really care, it doesn't bother me as much. It doesn't affect me as much. And it turns out my limits are way farther by several factors than I would have originally guessed. I would have guessed that I would have, wrapped it up by now and been like, okay, so, and click. Oh, nope, I'm all right. A little uncomfortable, especially when I'm trying to speak and, think. But honestly, focusing here is taking 80% of the anguish out of it. Okay, this is the point of training. It is not about the destination. It is not about the perfect, tornado kick. If you believe you have the perfect tornado kick, you don't, right? Get comfortable with chasing things. Well, neither of us will ever reach perfect. And that used to bother me. I used to get real upset because, but it would be so great, right? Missing the point. It's not about that. It's about living. It's not about these pictures. It's about being here. And now I'm comfortable. And I'm going to go deeper even. I'm going to bend over. I shouldn't be able to do this with the way I train. We're here. So, can doing horse stance for 5 minutes a day change your life? Sure. But I'm going to take it one step further. Do things that are uncomfortable. Not painful, right? Not dangerous or a threat to your health. This isn't going to threaten my health, right? Literal worst case scenario. All of my muscles fail completely. I have zero, glycogen left to use any of my tissues. I just sit down, right? And if you're really worried about it, put a chair behind you, okay? It's fine. It's fine. And what you're going to find out, like I'm finding out, is that your limits kind of don't exist. I mean, you do have limits, but you've been imagining all of these limits the whole time. You've been make-believing yourself into a weaker position. And because you trust your brain's like, well, I trust me, so yeah, of course. Isn't it nice that we got, 20 more minutes of Netflix instead of, expanding the boundaries of my willpower, right? That is what keeps most people from achieving their dreams. Most things are not as hard as you believe them to be. That's the whole problem. And I'm splitting the floor beneath me. That's the whole problem. Okay? We are all living these narratives and stories in our heads, right? Oh, I've been disenfranchised, I'm a victim, I'm weak, I couldn't do that, that's impossible. They got lucky, and you gotta actually try. For real. Because if I had tried to do this for 5 minutes, I would have felt the burn and been like, wow, that felt pretty close to my limits. I mean, I'm starting to wonder how long I could actually be here. Really. I mean, I honestly, I don't know that I have the camera battery to last as long as I could wax poetic about the value of being uncomfortable. That's what it is. Get your hips strong, okay? Get that, support a dinner plate shelf. Great, that's awesome. I want all of that for you, okay? But the tool of separating yourself from the voice that says, aren't you tired? Quit. Oh, sit down. Oh, how amazing will it feel to just, let go. Of course, everyone can do that. Everyone can also horse stance for many minutes, right? Again, if you had a gun to your head, if someone offered you $10 million, you'd find a way, right? So you're not really finding the way because, it's like, I don't have an enormous, huge gold nugget of motivation to actually push, to actually see. So you're making it up, right? And I'm not going to say you should never lie. Lying is a skill. It's a valuable skill. In society, you're going to need to do that at some point in your life. Don't lie to yourself. Disservice isn't even the right thing. You can spend years, decades, maybe your entire life wasting away believing that you are incapable of something. You don't know that. Just like when kids say, I don't like broccoli. Have you ever had it? No. They don't know anything. Okay? It takes time and patience and actually giving things a shot to be like, well, it's not that bad. And actually, if you put some butter, and some garlic on it, it's actually pretty good. Exactly. It's the same thing. These principles are universal. If you can master being uncomfortable, you will go farther than 95% of the population. Most people want it easy. And that's where they'll be, in easy. Right? But the cool stuff exists in the hard. Right? You don't accidentally learn to do a tornado kick. It takes time and patience and going for it and trying it. So if you're going for your punches, right? You're going for your kicks. You're going for the big jumps. Why aren't you pushing yourself in the same way? Because, it's uncomfortable or it's not flashy or, Because I can do this, I know that I can endure more stress at work, more injustices, out in the wild. Your capacity improves immediately. That's the thing. It's not something that you build. You have it already. You don't know, you have not even reached the limit over here. You are swimming around in here. So even if you get over here, you didn't max out, but you got, 3, 4, 5 times as far as you would have waiting around to see if something accidentally happened, right? If you relaxed and fell into, the winning bodybuilding pose, right? It's not how it works. All of the people that are on the bodybuilding stages, that are winning gold medals, they got comfortable being uncomfortable. What they wanted out of it was more important than comfort in the moment. Eventually, this is going to be over, and I'll forget about it. It's only right now that I'm having to deal with this, right? You've worked for 8 hours a day or more. You went through hours and hours of school and homework. You didn't want to do those, but you got smarter. Your brain got stronger, and now it's no big deal. You don't even think about it. You're potentially one day or one session away from unlocking all of your potential. All right? Now, I don't like to clickbait people. That's not clickbait. I have scoliosis, and my spine's torn up. And I have so many injuries and so much damage from years of just throwing myself at things. I succeeded not because I'm super special. I'll admit, I have some good genetics. I stay lean very easily. I learn physical skills, pretty easily. So I have advantages. Right? But I don't have perfect genetics or the perfect body. I have like a kind of a crazy contorted body that I have to shape around things, right? So I've succeeded in spite of not being the best, not being the strongest or the fastest. Okay? I tried the hardest, and so I became the most skilled. Because I got comfortable being uncomfortable. And so when everyone else would quit, sit down, leave, I would still be there. And that's why I made it farther. That's it. You just have to sit and watch. Sit and watch everyone else filter out. How ludicrous that all it takes is, I'm getting a little bit of a burn in your legs. And you've proven your will is 10 times stronger than all the people surrounding you. I'm not trying to verbally beat you into doing this, right? The point is, evaluate what you have told yourself is the limit and what you have proven to be your limit, right? I've maxed out in the weight room. I've found my true limits, right? Lifting, I'm literally blacking out, a tunnel vision, lifting the maximum I can possibly do, tearing a bunch of stuff in my body. But it took a long time to figure out how far that was. Years. And I was trying really hard. So you could have all of this potential, and you are sleeping on it because you don't want to risk potentially getting a cramp. Buddy, LeBron's toes are all fucked up, right? There are people with like missing legs that compete in the Olympics. You can find a way. And you will surprise yourself. I don't care how long I can hold this. I've already proven to myself many times over that I can exceed my body's signal to quit in many different ways. So I'm very comfortable talking about it, and I talk about it like it's, well, just do it. It's shockingly simple. Right? Humans, we want things to be complex. We want the answer to be this crazy, complicated thing that, only the smartest could figure out, because complicated means better, right? No. It's simple. Don't lose yourself in the forest for the trees. Try things. And try. The key is not setting a timer. Oh, I need to get 31 push-ups because I did 30 last time. You're not thinking like a living, breathing, moving thing. You got to let go of the time. And when you do, everything else opens up. I think I might be experiencing, I don't run, right, as I've discussed before, like a runner's high. I'm getting kind of I almost feel stronger now, right? Been here for a while. I've never, ever in my life done something for this long like this. Never. I didn't warm up. I didn't prepare. I didn't train for this. I'm actually recovering from being sick, right? So I'm hacking stuff up. Exactly. Even when things are not optimal and things are arguably far, I should have waited for another day, according to most logic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all a lie, right? So what you tell yourself will become true. The body is crazy like that. That's why the monks can throw a frozen towel on their back and dry it by increasing their body temperature, right? They got over the initial hurdle, the difficulty gate of, wow, this sucks. And then beyond that are all these superpowers. All of this physical, the limits of humans we haven't even found yet. Because most people want to be comfortable. They want to relax. They don't want to push themselves. Oh, I couldn't have done that. Oh, I couldn't have. everything in life that is, you got to work for things, right? No one just comes up and hands you money, right? You got to work for it. And when you start your first job, it's scary, right? You don't know what you're doing. You're nervous. You want to do a good job. In a month, you're shooting the shit with everyone. Hey, you know, toss and stuff. Like, it becomes casual. Once you become comfortable with it, it doesn't matter. And then, now I know I've unlocked however many minutes of leg endurance. See, earlier I told you I'm not really an endurance person. I can't really do that. I'm proving my point over and over and over. Try it. Okay? Just try it. If you want, rewind the video, do it with me, right? Focus on the words, talk back to me, right? Curse me out, whatever. Remove yourself from the discomfort. And then you wait and listen. When is my body going to give out and all the bad things that I'm afraid of are going to happen? Nothing. It's just this. That's it. It's just the burn. And if you've been here for this long, you know you can get through it. That's it. That's all it is. There's no. So, I want to encourage you. Okay, now that I've berated you and maybe insulted you or something, give this a shot, or whatever, right? Hold a push-up position at the top, hold a plank, stand on one leg. See how long you can stand on one leg. When's the last time you tested your balance like that? Not to, do a bunch of kicks or, do your pirouettes or whatever. Just how long you just stood there. And really wait until you had to stop. I honestly could go for another half an hour. I'd really like to do some other content tonight, so I probably won't. Again, I've already proven my point to me. So hopefully, I can't prove anything to you. You got to prove it to yourself. And once you do, you'll understand. And you, this whole time, I've been holding back. Yeah, that can be you from the anime. Okay, but you gotta push and see. You don't even have to really push. You just have to sit and wait. Right? You're good at waiting for the Uber Eats guy. You're good at waiting for the weed man, but you can't wait 5 minutes to see if maybe you unlock an indomitable will? Come on. Don't leave superpowers on the table, okay? Here, we take superpowers, okay? We love superpowers. We pursue them. Okay? If you're leaving them on the table, maybe I'll take them from you. All right? I've made my point. I'm feeling pretty good, and I think I'm going to go into a session where I'm going to do some legs. I'm going to do some kicks. I think I'll be fine. Right? Right. Os. どうもありがとうございました. See you next time.